Evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of this podcast series, Careers for Women, Trades, and Vets in Tech and Data Centers. And today, BroGav has let me clean out their house. We have three young women that are a little bit new to the industry, and I thought it would be fun and kind of flip the script a little bit and talk to some people that are starting into the industry, because I think there's some apprehension and fear for people thinking about starting, like, am I technical enough? Do I know enough things? So we're going to talk to some people that have jumped in and bit that bullet and see how they're doing and see what's working for them. And maybe you guys can pick up some good information. So we're going to start. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself. We'll go left to right today.
Hi, I'm Emily Seward, and I work as the Business Development Manager for BroGav Solutions. And so I just really try and help find customers that we can sell our products to and help grow our business.
Very good.
Hello, I am Anita Johnson, and I am the Director of Administration for BroGav Solutions. I work a lot with the onboarding and paperwork, but I also do, I feel like I have a lot of many hats. I do quotes, call customers, go to meetings, see all of the above. So.
And I'm Jessa Brixius. I am Director of Marketing and Communications, probably the least technical of everybody here. My position focuses on a lot of the marketing, whether that's with other companies, cross-marketing, cross-campaigning, social media, event planning, event marketing, and prepping for that, and some collateral and things of that nature too.
So you guys just had an event. Talk about that. Tell everybody about the event in case they want to go next year.
Yeah, so we just hosted our first annual, it was called Let's Break the Ice event. And it was a national networking event located here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where we're based out of. And it was really just an opportunity to bring data center professionals to the Midwest. And our slogan was kind of set aside the golf clubs, pack your parkas, and join us on a frozen lake in Minnesota. So it centered around ice fishing. And of course, we had, discussions and speakers and panel discussions and networking. And it was a ton of fun. Really just an opportunity for people to gather and meet each other and network. And it was an awesome success. Wouldn't you guys say? It was really fun. So we are definitely looking forward to next year.
We've set the date.
Yes, February 5th, 2025.
If you want to freeze, that's your day.
Oh, it's a blast. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Says the reformed Yankee, right? That's when you move out of the snow, you never want to go back to the snow if you can help it, I feel like. Anyway, start from left to right. Jess, we'll start with you this time, right to left, sorry. How long have you been in the industry?
1 year and 2 months.
Okay.
I have been for 2 years.
2 years, Emily?
And I'm the newbie, 5 months.
So that's a pretty cool range of experience. When you were in school and you were thinking about, what do I want to be when I grow up? Did you ever think that you might be in the data center industry? Did you have any exposure to it, or how did that work for you? Jessa, we'll start with you.
So first question, never thought I would be in a tech industry. But to answer your second question, the data center industry, I don't think I ever even really heard about it. And I remember when I started in the data center industry, Selena, the CEO or CEO of BroGav, did mention that it's not a very popular industry. It doesn't get a lot of discussion. It doesn't get a lot of headway. A lot of that is mainly potentially due to the fact that they are so high security. So they're really difficult to find or to even know that they exist. But I never thought I would be in this industry. So it's been a learning curve, but a very fun and exciting one, as it is ever evolving, constantly advancing. There's never any short of excitement. So I've really enjoyed it thus far.
So, Emily, I'll ask you, in your 5 months as you jump into a brand new industry, how do you just wrap your head around that brand new industry? Like, what are some tricks and tips that you have that you're kind of working through right now to figure out what things are and what your path is going to look like?
Excuse me. So Selena's been great. She's been in the industry for years. And so she's been super helpful in giving me an overview of products, all of the acronyms that are used in the industry. Um, I'm constantly learning new products every single day. Obviously, Google helps significantly, even Chat GPT, is that what it is? No, so I mean, it's just a lot of researching, technology and, coming into this industry, I didn't even know what a data center was. So learning about what a data center is and all of the components and technology and infrastructure that goes into data centers, so that I can get a big picture of what they are. And then just Brogav sells all the different products for the data centers. And so just learning the different products and using as many resources as I can. My coworkers for sure, Selena, and then of course your book as well.
Oh,
It's
well,
super helpful.
I'm glad that's helping. Wasn't fishing for a compliment, but I'm glad it's helping.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was the idea, right? If you take a single mom, one certification is a life-changing event for them, right? It's the opportunity to earn good money in a great industry, take care of your family, feed your family very well. The hard part is nobody knows about this industry. It is definitely kind of the quiet spoke on the wheel because it's partly security, but partly because we don't really have that as a curriculum in school, right? Nobody talks about data centers. It's maybe an add-on or an elective to some other degree, but we don't have degrees that revolve around mission critical, which I think we should. But I also think, there's room for a lot of people in this industry that have nothing to do with the degree. So talk about that, maybe talk about, where were you from an education standpoint? How did you fit into this industry? How do you, did you feel like you needed to go back and get a degree, or do you feel like you're getting great information? And Anita, will start with you this time.
Well, I guess I feel like this industry is open for anybody, regardless if they have a degree or not. I myself, I didn't have a degree in anything, and I'm learning every day. And yeah, I just feel like there's so many opportunities for no matter what kind of background you have, for sure.
And I would agree. It doesn't matter who the teacher is as long as you're being taught, right? And being taught correctly.
Right. Nice. Yeah.
So from I guess a Brogav perspective, let's talk about this. Let's talk about your first day on the job. Maybe we'll start with business development. Your first day on the job, your customer calls you and asks you for product X, and you've never heard of it. What do you do?
Well, I don't have the answer for you, but I can certainly I can find it for you. I mean, I don't think everybody expects you to have the answer on the spot, but I think just the follow-up is important. And, I don't think, especially in this industry, you can admit that you don't know something and then you go find out the answer. I'd rather, find out what they're looking for than trying to, BS my way through answering
I
a
tell
question
people all the
for
time,
them.
this is probably one of the largest ongoing apprenticeships because we don't have curriculum. So everybody learns from everybody else. We learn from our vendors. We learn from each other. We learn from our peers, what worked, what didn't work.
Right.
All of those I think are super helpful. And I think for those that are considering joining the industry, don't be afraid because it's also a super helpful industry. Aren't you guys finding that? Like everywhere you go,
Oh,
aren't
yeah.
people just overly
Yes.
happy to answer your questions?
Yes.
They want you to be in the industry. They want you to succeed in the industry. And so, yeah, I found right away, I, told the team, I was like, oh my gosh, everyone's so welcoming. And so, they want you to be successful in, what you're doing. And I think it's unique that we're all women as well, because this industry is
Is
male,
not.
predominantly male, dominated.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I think it's crazy that there's not more being taught in schools because it's critical to our everyday life. I mean, I am embarrassed now not to have known what a data center was because I mean, it's
with everything.
I mean, we have to have them
Right?
for our
Where's
world
all
to
this stuff gonna
function as
live?
we know it.
I think it's important too to recognize that whether or not you have experience, speaking from experience, whether or not you have experience in the data center industry, there are just such a wide variety and vast array of jobs in this industry that could stem from another field. For example, marketing. I do a lot of graphic design work. I do a lot of print material work, which, in a way, I'm in the data center industry. So I do need to know what products are, the general scope of a product. But my job is to market the product from a graphic standpoint, or with our Let's Break the Ice event, event planning. I mean, you'd never really associate event planning potentially in the data center industry, but there is an opportunity there. So I do think just spreading the awareness of that this industry exists, and that no matter what your background is or your past careers or what they were focused in, there's an opportunity here, whether you were in sales or whether you were in marketing or whether you were in administration. There's opportunities here. In the trades, you talk about a lot of those jobs in your book too. So, but spreading the awareness of what this industry is, I think, is huge, and that there are so many jobs available here.
And you make a great point. Parallel skills matter, right? It might not be wherever you're going, wherever you're looking for a job. When you think about, I think it's kind of important, and maybe that's one area where ChatGPT can actually be relatively helpful. Of course, whatever you get out of artificial intelligence, make sure you check it 100%, because you don't know what the language models are built on. So just as a caveat, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think that's a good idea, if you start trying to figure out what some of these jobs are, because some of our job titles, data center technician, what the heck does that mean?
Yeah.
Right? What
Mhm.
does that mean to the average Joe out there that's not been exposed to the industry? And I think with ChatGPT, you can start doing some of the investigation. Give me the top 3 skills listed for all data center technicians. Give me the top, 10 resume keywords for pick a job title. And I think in that way, you can start sort of investigating some of these job titles, because you might be 100% qualified through a parallel skill like you were talking about, right? Marketing, accounting, all kinds of stuff. I mean, we have every single job in the industry that's in other companies.
Right, exactly.
I agree.
I think it's just intimidating, and I think a reason it's intimidating for people is because this industry is not talked about enough. So it's the unknown factor that people are weary of. And, a data center technician, I may be able to fix cars and anything under the sun, but I don't know what a data center technician does. So nope, not even going to look into that one, when in reality, it could be a great fit. So
When I was
And
looking
actually,
for it, oh, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, to your point, I was talking to some student class for a program up in Nova, internship that they're working on up there. And there was a bunch of kids coming out of the electrical program, but when exposed to data center electrical terms, they completely freaked out because they'd never heard those terms before. But the things perform the exact same way and do the exact same function is something else that they're very familiar with the terms. So to your point, don't let the terms scare you. A lot of times it's just industry specific, but it's the same as it does pretty much the same as something else, right?
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
And I think if you can break things down to their, just tell me what the thing does.
Right.
Mhm.
Give me the layman's terms. Just
And we have way
acronyms-
too many TLAs and FLAs, right?
Yeah, and the acronyms really are plentiful. There are many. We played a game at one of our golf events that we were sponsoring a golf hole last year, and we called it Acronym Soup. And essentially had flashcards of different acronyms in the data center industry. And I think it was a 60-second, how many can you get? We'd ask these people, and man, some of them definitely got stumped because there are a lot.
I even think there's doubles of some.
Yeah, there are double. Yeah.
Especially in super fast recall too, right?
Yeah.
Nothing like a
Those
little
were on-
pressure to make it better.
Those were on my desk my very first day.
The acronym.
The acronyms.
So
Got
which ones
started
still
early.
stump you?
What's that?
I said, which ones still stump you?
There's probably several. Still.
Right?
Don't put us on the spot, Carrie.
Don't ask
We're
us.
all in the same boat. I was looking at one the other day and I was reading it in the context of this sentence and I said, that just makes, surely they got the letters wrong, right? Because now we're at the point where we have so many acronyms that we're reusing them and they mean something completely different. So I had to look it up because the meaning that I knew didn't fit the story, but the new meaning, surprise, surprise, right? It is never-ending learning, never-ending learning.
Yeah.
So Anita, we'll start with you. What do you think before you started the industry? Like when you knew you were going to start this job, what were you most afraid of, only to find out that it was all in your head and you shouldn't have been as afraid as you were?
I would have to say the technical aspect of it. To be honest, sometimes, reading things, it's like reading Chinese to me, but you kind of need to look back or step back and take a bigger look at it. But I would definitely say that the technical terms and not thinking I would understand it or have a grasp on any of it.
What about you, Emily?
I agree with Anita. I would definitely say just like technical, like the products. Just we have such a wide array of products that we sell that I was just like, how am I ever going to learn all there is to know? And I think knowing that it's just on a continuum, like it's always evolving. I mean, something that you learn a month ago might be different a month, later. I mean, it's just always changing. So I think, what Anita said, definitely like, am I technical enough for this position? Am I technical enough to be successful in this industry? So, yeah.
And I think people view the term, am I technical? What does technical mean? Like, I think it just means you have the ability to absorb technology and understand it, right?
Mm-hmm. And maybe maybe we all look at that differently. I don't know. For me, it was more like, am I
going to know what parts this HVAC system or this crack unit needs, or what, compressor goes to which? That's the aspect that was like.
I think in a way too, just making it really basic. There should almost be a dictionary of data center industry terms and just the really layman's definition. Yeah,
like the Newtons.
PDU. Can we just call it a giant power strip? Like, can we just, really letting it make sense? But I will say that's what's fun about it now is having started from a completely different industry and field and stepped into this, I experienced that firsthand. So now, BroGav, almost our entire company is made up of people that were never in this industry until very recently. When we bring on new people at BroGav, it's a fun opportunity to teach them the industry as, hey, I've been there. I was also brand new into the industry and had to get my feet wet and drink from the fire hose, and it's a lot, but here's a really simple way of how it helped us. And I will say, shameless plug, Carrie, Selena did give us your book. I think I read that within my first month.
Oh, good.
As an intro to the industry, which was very helpful. So something to reference back on too.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that was the intent. It's not meant to be the end all be all textbook. It's meant to be an intro to the industry so that people can start without being petrified.
Right.
Because especially because I used to travel with salespeople, and they're new to the industry and their first business meeting or whatever. And when it gets outside of the one product they're trained on, they get lost in the conversation. I thought, wow, that's just a horrible way to make somebody succeed, right? Is shelter them from every bit of growth opportunity that they have. So I figured that was kind of criminal, but anyway.
Yeah.
Glad it helped. So, so how did you end up starting in this industry? How did you run into Selena and end up with your jobs? Did you guys apply online? Was it through networking? How did you end up there?
So I found her posting on LinkedIn, and when I first looked at the position, it was like I had no idea what it was. And actually my husband was looking at it with me. He's like, "Oh, this looks really cool." It was like, I'm not sure what it says. And he's like, "You got to apply," and so he encouraged me to apply, and Selena and I touched base, and she talked about the position and what it would entail, and it was really intriguing, and so I applied. My background is in sales, and so
And what did you sell before?
So Kind Bars, the Kind Bar company.
Yeah.
Kind Snacks. Yeah, so I worked for Kind, totally different industry, but
Slightly,
again,
yeah.
it's about building custom, right? It's about
appreciated on
building,
late nights doing updates, however.
yeah. But it's about building customer relationships and building that trust with your customers. So like Jessa was saying before, like it really crosses into so many different industries. So that's how I found Selena and Brogav.
Nice. And what about you, Jessa?
So Selena and I went to college together. I graduated with a degree in a bachelor's in public health and a bachelor's in science or Spanish, forgive me, science and public health. And I was in the corporate wellness field, and health fitness, but a lot of wellness programming in employee wellness programs is what I did a lot of. So Selena knew I had the marketing background, the event planning background. And so that's where my role really is centered around at Brogav. But yeah, another completely different field coming from. So.
And what about you, Anita?
Well, Selena had reached out to me. Our kids, our friends, we used to live on the same street, and she had came to me and said she was starting a business and kind of offered me a job. And I was in the point in my life where, a switch up would be great. So I said yes, and all right.
So that just goes to show everybody listening the different ways that you can find a job in the industry, right? We know that 85% of jobs are filled through networking. You knew Selena, you ended up falling into the job. That's how, to be honest, most people end up in this industry that don't know about it, is somebody from the industry sucked them in, right? Or brought them in. But then we also, you can still apply and make those connections and still come into the industry from outside, even if you're scared. So don't be scared. If you're scared, just say you're scared, as they say.
Right.
But don't be scared, because there are so many people that are so helpful. And I will say that I think this is a vastly different industry than it was when I started 40 years ago, especially with respect to women. There are more than 4 of us now. In all the specialties, right, outside of what you would think are core specialties. And it is nice. And I do think that it brings that difference in thought. And I've always said that I feel like tech would be a kinder space if more women were involved.
I
think we put up with less,
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably stereotypical, and I'm sure somebody will make a comment. However, I stand behind that.
Yeah.
Because I think that having more and more people involved in technology, then technology starts working for us instead of the other way around, right? We have more influence on what those stacks look like, what the applications are going to do, how they're going to treat our children, how we're going to monitor what our kids are doing on the internet, and all of those things. I think, all of that is a big part of our industry.
Yes. Yeah. More diversity is needed.
Without a doubt. So I guess we're bumping up pretty close to our time here. If you guys wanted to leave people with parting words of wisdom that are either thinking about joining the industry, thinking about investigating joining the industry, or somewhere in there, what would you say? And Anita, we'll start with you this time.
Oh, geez. I guess I would say don't be afraid. There's so many opportunities, and I will say everybody has been so welcoming, so willing to help with any aspect of, whether it's, their knowledge or, directing you in the right possible way of whatever you're looking for. I will say people have been very nice. So I wouldn't be afraid, I guess, to give it a shot.
Perfect. Jess, what about you?
Well, I think it really stems from the fear of the unknown. So I would urge people to educate themselves on what the industry is, just to get a simple idea, listening to your podcast, reading books, talking to maybe people that they know in the industry. And then just, again, being mindful of the fact that you can come into this industry, experience here from all these women, from a different field. It is possible. So coming in with zero experience is 100% a possibility. And frankly, I think it's a necessity in this industry to really gain that diversity.
I think so too, to your point. I think that's, sometime back when I was writing code, the person that you wanted to debug your stuff was the person who knew nothing about the program that could get in there and play around and do stupid things.
Right.
And that insight is invaluable because now you figure out how people that don't know how it works are going to try to interact with it. And I think it's the same thing as you build a knowledge base. Sometimes the stupid question is one that solves the problem.
Yeah.
And so to the point that there are no stupid questions, I 100% agree with that. What about you, Emily?
I would echo Anita and Jess's, thoughts. If you're wanting to get into the industry, research it. And there's room for, there's all skills are needed and people are needed in this industry. And it's just going to grow and it's going to continue to grow. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity.
It's not going
I
anywhere.
agree. Yeah. What do they say? There's technology, morticians, and medical will never,
Right.
never
Yeah.
run out of customers.
Yes, it's true. It's
Correct.
true. And we need more women. So if you're a woman out there, perk your ears up and get involved.
Absolutely. Reach out. So I will tell you, all of your contact information will be in the podcast information. We'll have a link to BroGav if people want to learn about distribution or want to go freeze next February and learn about the industry and do some ice fishing. Be great to go check that out too. Ladies, I thank you so much for your time today. I think it's been invaluable, and I'm sure there's people that are thinking about diving into this industry. You probably just pushed them over the edge. In a good way.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks.
Bye.
For the rest of you listening, we appreciate you listening, and we look forward to having you on another edition of this podcast series. Thanks. Have a great day.